Try to
Arvin,
join us. Yes, sir. I hope because I think he's having some
no,
internet
Azman, it seems that he got
issues.
kicked out again from the internet. He'll try with another computer and then he'll be late lah. Maybe
Okay,
him as a third speaker lah.
okay, sure.
Alright. I'll keep in touch with you over your phone.
Okay, sure.
Video phone. Alright.
Some
No,
internet
Azman, it seems that he got
issues.
kicked out again from the internet. He'll try with another computer and then he'll be late lah. Maybe him as a third speaker lah.
Okay, sure.
Alright. I'll keep in touch with you over your phone. Over
Okay,
your
sure.
video phone. Alright. No, Azman, it seems that he got kicked out again from the internet. He'll try with another computer and then he'll be late lah. Maybe him as a
Okay,
third speaker lah.
so before we begin the live stream,
I'll
any
keep in
last
touch with you
questions from anyone?
over your phone.
This is going to be a presentation or is it going to be a forum? I think
It's a forum. It's
It's
a
a
forum.
forum, right? So any presentation by anyone?
Dr. Carol will be presenting.
Okay.
Not really
Yeah.
presenting. I just want to make it a more lively kind of things.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
You must make it lively because engineering is not a boring field.
Oh, it's not. Definitely it's not.
Okay, Norazman. Hello. I think I will just begin. To all attendees, to ensure that our program runs smoothly, we hope everyone can give us your full support and pay full attention to the topic of our forum today. Thank you. A very good evening, salam sejahtera, and salam satu Malaysia to our VIPs. Dato IR Abdul Kadir Muhammad Din, the Managing Director of Sakra SOL Sendirian Berhad. Haji C. Nur Azman bin C1 from Polytechnic Engku Omar, Ipoh, Perak. And from UTP, we have Associate Professor Dr. Basha Muhammad, Chair of the Civil and Environmental Engineering Department at Universiti Teknologi Petronas, Dr. Ng Cheng Yi, Lecturer at Universiti Teknologi Petronas, Dr. Zahira Nizam Mustafa, Senior Lecturer at Universiti Teknologi Petronas, Professor Dr. Samsul Rahman Muhammad Kuki, Lecturer at Universiti Teknologi Petronas, and also a very warm welcome to all our beloved guests. Thank you for attending this forum today on our topic Civil Engineering Futures. Before we move on, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Arvind Singh and I will be your MC for today. I'm a student at University Teknologi Petronas and it is my privilege for me to be your MC for today. Firstly, I would like to invite Associate Professor Dr. Basha Muhammad, Chair of the Civil and Environmental Engineering Department at University Teknologi Petronas, to say a few words and an opening remark for our forum today. Please welcome Dr. Basha.
Thank you, Arvind. Bismillah wa salatu wassalam ala Rasulullah. Our distinguished speaker, Yang Berbahagia Datu I.R. Abdul Qadir Muhammadin, President Malaysia Water Association, Malaysia. Tuan Haji C. Nur Azman C1, Ketua Jabatan Kejuruteraan Awam Politeknik Engku Omar, Dr. Karel, our senior lecturer department, our senior lecturer in the Civil Environmental Engineering Department, moderator of this online forum, Associate Prof. Dr. Zahira, Prof. Shark, also from the Civil Engineering Department, Mr. Arvin, President of UCT, student society under the Civil Engineering Department, UTP students, and yes. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and very good afternoon.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Welcome to the online forum, Challenges in Civil Engineering Education, organized by UCT, a student club under Civil and Environmental Engineering Department, Universiti Teknologi Petronas. The main objective of this online forum is to provide insight into civil engineering profession and also to shed the light on the civil engineering futures for both current civil engineering students and also future prospect students. In this online forum, there will be three topics by our distinguished speaker. The first topic, Chaparan, Pembelajaran, Belajar Ki Juturaan Awam di Polytechnic by Idwan Haji Chinur Azman Shiwan. The second topic, my adventure as a Polytechnic student by Dr. Kare. And the third topic, civil engineering from different perspectives by Bahagya Datu I.R. Abdul Qadir Mohammed. I would like to take this opportunity to give a short introduction about the Civil and Environmental Engineering Department in UTP. It is a dynamic department. We aspire to develop leaders in civil engineering industries. With a firm belief that knowledge without application is akin to a book that is never read. We take great pride in developing and mentoring the engineers of tomorrow, enhancing their passion for learning. Therefore, the department has put together programs that not only focus on research and education, but most importantly relevant to industry and develop skilled human capital. Today, the department is playing a key role in nurturing the skills and competency of the future leaders in the civil engineering domain. As a department, we continue to work on research problems in areas of national and international importance. These include offshore structures and deep-water technologies, structural integrity and project management, decommissioning, geotechnical and geohazard, sustainable development and resources, carbon mitigation and green building materials, wastewater treatment and management, urban water security. In all of these areas and more, we have faculty members working at the forefront closely with the industry partners and the students and also with the research staff who are producing outstanding research and technical directives to be used by the industry. The Civil Engineering Department in UTP currently offer undergraduate program, Bachelor of Civil Engineering with honors, postgraduate programs, Master in Offshore Engineering by coursework, Master in Industrial Environmental Engineering by coursework, Master in Civil Engineering by research, PhD in Civil Engineering by research. The Civil and Environmental Engineering Department in UTP is fully accredited department by Engineering Accreditation Council Malaysia and also in the top 200 civil program worldwide as announced by the QS World University Rankings 2020. Without further ado, I would like to open this forum with Bismillah and wish all of you a fruitful discussion. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and many thanks for you.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Thank you, Dr. Basha, on the lovely speech.
Thank you.
Next, without further ado, I would like to invite our moderator for our forum today. But before I do so, I would like to share with everyone a little about her. Dr. Zahira Nizam Mustafa is an associate professor at the Department of Civil and Environmental Engineering at Universiti Teknologi Petronas, UTP, for nearly 15 years. She obtained her PhD majoring in pipeline reliability from Delft University of Technology at the Netherlands in the year 2011, her Masters of Science in Water Resources Engineering from the University of Alberta in Canada in the year 2003, and a Bachelor's of Engineering with Honours in Civil Engineering from the Universiti Teknologi of Malaysia in the year 2000. With that, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Zahira as our moderator for today.
Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. And thank you very much, Arvin. So I hope everybody can hear me well. The name is a little bit long, but you can call me by Zahira. So it's a very important day today for us, for the whole of us today, especially for UTP with the help and organizing from UCT. We are bringing three important people for a forum on a very important topic, which is challenges in civil engineering education. So we will be listening to all these three great people. They are in their success stories of their field, their career path. So there are a lot of things to learn from them. And the main important thing is for us to fresh up a little bit on the significance of civil engineering to the eyes of the world. Because with all these great things, currently people seems to forget a little bit. So we're going to remind them again, and from here you will know how important civil engineering is as early as the civilization. So civil engineering and civilized, so there are two words together, you see. So okay, so we are going to meet with very soon to replace uh, I would like to address her as replacing Datuk Michelle Yeoh very soon. So the great icon of Ipoh Hine, Dr. Carol Ng Cheng Yi, who is more comfortable with the synonym of Dr. Carol. So let me introduce her to you. She is currently a senior lecturer in the Department of Civil Engineering at UTP. She has received her bachelor in civil engineering in 2008 from UTP. And since she is one of our loyal students, we love her so much. So she continued her master's in civil engineering in offshore structures in 2010, offshore structures. And again, we like to have her for another degree. So we gave her a PhD from Universiti Teknologi Petronas in 2014. So this is a very loyal alumni of UTP. And you will see along the way that she got her first degree from Polytechnic Engku Omar itself. So her current specializations is that she's focusing in engineering education as one of her topic of interest, offshore structures with hydrodynamics and marine renewable energy. So she has been very successful that she have been invited to two international institutions in Indonesia by the name 10 November Institute of Technology as a visiting scholar. And very soon, around 2018, last year, she has been invited under the prestigious EU Erasmus and the Staff Mobility Program for teaching to Turkey, to Middle East Technical University, METU. So with all these great stories of her, she also involved in project management, seconded into administration in 2018, and she is a great practitioner of Lean Six Sigma, Green Belt practitioner. Wow, what is that? Yeah, Dr. Kara. So Dr. Kara, you will ask her more for any information that is related to her biography. So for now, I'm giving you the session, Dr. Carol. Please tell us a little bit more about the challenges in civil engineering education.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Zaira. So thank you as well, Dr. Basha, and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, to Dr. Kadir, to Tan Najee, Nor Azman, who was my teacher last time. Okay, so yeah, very good afternoon, everyone, and especially for those who are watching this live video now. So very good afternoon. Today, let's not to make it too official. Okay, so we'll just make it like I'm going to share my experience, and I hope that you can get inspired by my journey. All right, I put it as a journey because it's kind of challenging for me. Okay, so can you see my slide?
Yes, we can. Maybe
All
you
right.
can make it in the big view.
Full screen.
Yes, please.
All right.
Yes.
Okay, so how about
Great.
now?
Good.
All right. Okay. So, what is the challenges? So, I'm going to share my journey of how am I or how I made it to where am I today. All right. So it's not easy, but I enjoy the process. Okay, I enjoy the process. So let's talk about where we were. Where all right. Oops. That should be previous. All right. Okay. So things start from after SPM that I think everyone have the same experience that you don't really know where to go. So for me, going into STPM is a big no because I'm not confident for at the first place, and then I just don't feel comfortable to go for STPM. So I was thinking, okay, where should I go? So I should either go for the local U because by that time there was a 5 years engineering program that I have the option to go for, or I can go for polytechnic and other colleges. All right. So I have tried my luck in all these institutions, and then very luckily, Polytechnic Goma sent me an offer letter, and it gave me a first choice of which I selected in civil engineering. So that is where my journey as a civil engineer began. So to be frank, by then I don't really know what civil engineer is about. So the reason being is that why I choose civil engineering is that I following my footstep of my brother and sister. One of them was doing civil engineering in UTM by that time, and my sister was a land surveyor who graduated as well from Polytechnic in Guama. So yeah, like it, just go to I'll just join Polytechnic, and then uh, within 3 years, of course I finished my diploma, and then yeah, as a diploma holder, I feel that is not really enough because I remember that there is a very important message that my father passed it to me because my father was a government servant, so he's aware that having a degree means a lot, especially for our career. So by then, I didn't put a full stop after my diploma. So I actually apply for a different university for the civil engineering degree program. So unfortunately, I didn't get a civil engineering degree offered, but UTM offered me a degree in town planning or urban planning. All right. So that is where I was exposed to all these things. All right. Trees. All right. I was like, oh my God, what is all this about? So it's like, am I going really want to deal with all this? I told myself, I was like, oh no, this is not my thing. All right. So yeah, so I told myself, it's a no. So along the way, I never give up. Still, I'm applying to different universities and in for the civil engineering program. Okay, so voila, all right, UTP offered me. So it's a very important message that never give up. So yeah, and this is actually the third time I applied to UTP. The first time is when I finished my SPM. That is what UTP was one of the university that I applied. I didn't manage to go through it because by the time we have educam and there's various tests, so I didn't manage to go through that. So second time was after my diploma with Polytechnic. So again, UTP turned me down. All right, third time, while I was doing my while I was doing my degree in UTM, but I don't really like what I'm doing. So yeah, I put a full stop in UTM and I joined UTP because they did give me another chance of coming here. All right. So voila, by 2007, UTP offered me a placement, and then I joined UTP as a civil engineering students by that time, right? So yeah, my journey to UTP is not that easy by the by the way, right? So life is and anyhow, life in UTP is kind of a memorable one. I still remember that my roommate asked me, uh, why am I looking so cold? I was like, what is this question? I was like, I asked her why. She said that, you are the only one who came to UTP alone, who driving a car alone and do all the registration and go to your room all by yourself. Other students are all brought by the parents and families and a big bunch of people. I was like, oh really? Okay. Perhaps maybe I have gone through a lot. I was in Polytechnic, I was in UTM, so I have gone through all this. So coming to UTP is like kind of like I have experienced all this. So well, anyhow, I'm from Ipoh and it's close enough to my hometown, so it's not really a, how to say, it's not really necessary for my to trouble to troubling my families and send me here anyhow. Okay, so let's go back to what we supposed to talk about. All right, so the learning journey in UTP is very different compared to other institutions that I went to, Polytechnic and UTM. The first thing is that the language. Both of those institutions I attended was delivered their lecture in Malay, but UTP was in English by that time, right? And and then the most important things I experienced in UTP is that I can experience international education locally. All right. So by the we have a good number of international staff and international students. So you don't really have to travel to overseas to experience those. Okay. This is actually one of the things that drove me. You believe it or not, I can't really speak well English before I joined UTP. All right. So this is a good environment for me to learn. So the reason being is, like it or not, you have all the peoples here or from all over the places, from all over the world. So everyone is communicating in English. So you like it or not, you have to communicate with them in English. And then of course UTP also provide us different courses. For example, the language courses and communications and projects, as well as programs, right? That are required teamwork. Okay. So from there you have to adopt to the environment and you have to train your communication skills. So in a way, we are trained to be a good presenter, good communicator instead of by default, right? So UTP is I'm very glad that I picked up UTP because it did train me in this part. Okay. So besides that, we have given a chance as well to go for overseas through mobility programs, for example, students exchange program, research attachment and summer program, and even internship. So you can see here that in this corner, right, I was with our student in Turkey, right? She is under the student internship program, exchange program. So she is going to take one semester in Matthew in Middle East Technical University for her second year. All right, so for one of the second year. So that is the experience that you can get from UTP. Okay, so another turning point in my life is actually during the internship, right? So internship, anyhow, during UTP is my second times of undergoing the internship. My first time was during my diploma with Polytechnic Goma. So in my first internship, I was undergoing my internship with the consultant company, but the supervisor is very outgoing. So almost half of my time was in the site doing the inspection, and but I would be thankful for that because I actually have been exposed from A to Z whatever is happening in the site. Okay, so from the foundation to the finishing, the whole process, I have experienced that, even though it's given only a 3 months time for me to be in the industry. So during my degree internship with UTP, so I was thinking I was giving myself a challenge. So let's go to somewhere I haven't been before. So that is why I choose to go for the internship with the oil and gas industry. And I was with Acre Governor, and I think now they call it as the Acre Solution. All right. So within the 8 months, 8 months is a very long time period for internship, and then you can learn really a lot and you can see a lot there. Okay. So what you can see here that it's some of the things regarding the offshore or oil and gas industry. So you can see that there's a big ship here that we call it as a ship-shaped structure of the FPSO. Okay, and bottom here we have the buggy. This is for transporting the flexible pipeline. So all these were the pictures we took during our field trip. Okay, so being a student in UTP, so you don't really have the experience on the book. You can have the experience also to go for the field trip. You can see all these giant structures where the industry is really using it instead of only from the website or from the books. Okay, so for those who are watching the live video live stream now, so if you want to know more about offshore engineering and you have already graduated from your degree program, do join us in our offshore engineering master program. Okay, so if you'd like to know more, you can drop us a message later on. Okay, so this is a little bit of transitions during from me for myself from the construction industry to the energy industry. Okay, so after I got back to my these 8 months is actually giving me a very, how to say, a very significant change, because I do like oil and gas industry, but I don't really like the life in KL. So I guess everyone knows about that. It's very congested and very, so you don't really have the time uh, for something. Okay, so that makes up my mind. Okay, so I told myself that, okay, if I don't want to be in KL, but I want to involve in oil and gas in related industry, where should I go? So either you go to industry or you go to academic. Okay, so that is where I made up my mind. Okay, so I don't want to be in KL, so I want to be in oil and gas. So let's see if I can have a chance in the academic field. So then when I came back to UTP, I discussed with my supervisor. Okay, Prof, I want to be a lecturer. So what should I do? Okay, so I have to get a PhD anyhow. All right, so that is where we plan actually for my journey, for my postgraduate journey. All right, so I have finished up my degree, and then even my final year is related to offshore, and then we expand the project for my master, and we expand the project for my PhD. And then this is the playground. If you can see the wave tank here, this is the playground of my postgraduate studies that I have been swimming in the water for 5 years. Right. So this is the very special facilities that we have in UTP that you can explore, and then you can have different types of testing for, especially for the offshore engineering projects. Okay. And let's see. All right. So if I would like to do a reflections of my journey, so I would say that Polytechnic does give me a very good trainings for the practical. Okay. So you can see that people are building a bricks here, right? In the slides. Okay. So we did it in Polytechnic in Kuala. All right. So I did build a brick wall in Polytechnic in Kuala by myself. All right. And we do all the mortar mixing, all the concrete mixing by ourselves, and so on. And UTP provide us or strengthen us in terms of the technical knowledge. Okay, so and I would say this whole journey has actually changed my mind. Okay, so civil engineering is not only building and constructions, but we are living under the roof of civil engineering, believe it or not. Okay, the road that was built by civil engineer, the water that we are drinking was treated by civil engineer, the sewage, the wastewater was from the toilet or whatsoever, is be treated, is planned, designed by civil engineer. And even now, if you are driving a car, the petrol that you are using have to be initiated by by a civil engineer, because without the structure in the middle of the sea, we can't extract the oil from the sea. Right? So civil engineer for me is a very important role in all aspects. Okay. So that's my little reflection. So yeah, and I guess because of my hard work and never give up spirit, so a reward was given to me. I don't really sponsored by any of the funders. I was under the PTPTN study loan, and then I, to be frank, I don't really spend a penny for my education, because during my time, PTN was having a special scheme that we can actually waive our study loan or convert the study loan to scholarship if you get a very good result. So that is where I have a chance, and I'm the one of the lucky one that managed to get the conversion. All right. So if you like to join us, UTP is actually having a lot of financial assistance for our UTP students. You can see here, and for example, internal, we have internal scholarships that you can have a YUTP and YUTP full scholarship, education grant and YUTP bursary as well. TAZU, yeah, Tabung Amanah Zakat UTP. So we have YUTP and TAZU for internal, and we have also external. So we have, of course, from our parent company, from Petronas, and we have from IJM, from Gamuda as well. Okay, so generally students will try our best to assist students in terms of the financial, and as well for the student development program. If you still remember, we have all those student exchange program, and then you have the research attachment program. All those can be sponsored by UTP, right? But you will have to apply for that, of course, and first be our UTP student, all right? So I would like to encourage my juniors from Polytechnic to consider to join us in our program, because you'll not only have a better opportunities to expose to different industry, as well you will have options and have opportunity for the credit hour exemptions. About 25 to 30 credit hours you can be exempted for if you are continuing your degree program with UTP. Okay, and the online applications is opening now until end of the month. So yeah, so I hope that you can take this opportunity and to see the beauty of being a student in UTP. All right. So before I wrap up, so I would like to thank all the organizing committees for inviting me as well. A last message to whoever is watching the live stream now: do follow your heart, okay, and never ending chasing your dream. Okay, so I hope that my story inspired you, and I hope to see you in UTP. All right, so if you'd like to know more about us, so do drop us a message, and we'll keep communicating with you. All right, so thank you so much, and Dr. Z, I pass it back to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Carol. It is indeed very pleasing and inspiring stories that you have shared with us. So brings back
Yes,
all memories, and look at where you are now. Okay, everybody, look at where she is.
yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I'll keep all the questions to the later stage. I think
Sure.
we are so excited to hear more from the other two speakers. But whoever in the live stream, please promote this to your friends that we are doing it live, and we are going to hear from someone, a Datuk now. Okay, so yang berbahagia Datuk IR Abdul Kadir. So allow me to read a little bit about yourself, sir. So he is a president from Malaysian Water Association Malaysia. So he is the most super, anything about water you can just ask our Datuk here, okay? Any water.
Inshallah.
Inshallah. Okay. So Datuk Abdul Kadir is the managing director of Sakra SOL Sendirian Berhad, offering advisory services on water, wastewater, byproducts, green technology, and environmental management. So this is like the softer skill, softer structures of civil engineering. You don't deal with the building, but you deal with the liquid form of civil engineering. So this is the aspect. Okay. So Dato has vast exposure in engineering consultancy and public listed companies in senior management positions. He has extensive practical knowledge in planning, designing, managing water and sewerage works projects within the country and abroad in the UK, Brunei, Middle East, Singapore, and Malaysia. That's what I in Malaysia. So Dato holds a diploma in civil engineering from UiTM Shah Alam and graduated with Bachelor of Science degree in civil engineering again from the University of Strathclyde, Glasgow, Scotland. So Dato has as his names with the IR. So he is registered professional engineer with the BEM, Board of Engineers Malaysia. Not only that, also involved in Asian Chartered Professional Engineer, chartered engineer with the Institution of Civil Engineers UK, and currently a chairman of Malaysian Water Academy Sdn Bhd, alumni member of the Confederation of British Industry. So there's a lot of things that I mentioned about you, Dato. So we are so excited to know from one of the people in this field. All yours, Dato, please.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Zahira. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera. And first, foremost, I would like to thank UTP for inviting me to share my journey as a civil engineer. As of today, till today, I still cherish my the adventure life that I have as a civil engineer. Um, Currently, as before we start this forum, I did say something to Mr. Basha, what is civil engineering? Because people forgot that everything starts with civil engineering. Just before I start my journey, my personal journey, let's look at what happened to civil engineering per se. See, if you look at historical records back in the year 4000 to 2000 BC, during human existence in ancient Egypt, and it is in Mesopotamia, ancient Iraq, humans start to abandon a nomadic life existence. By what? They don't live in a cave anymore. They start building a structure. That is a shelter. When talk about shelter, then it was related to transportation. That become very important and leading to the development of the wheel and sailing, of course. You can see all the Arabs sailing everywhere. So it become very adventurous. Well, until modern times, there is no clear distinction between civil engineering and architecture because it refers to these two professions refer to the same person. So it's about civil engineering. So construction of pyramids is one example in Egypt that is back in 2700 between 2700 to 2500 BC can be considered as the first instance of large structure construction. So if you look at others, what happened was back in 2050 BC in Hotep, that's the first documented engineer, built a famous step pyramid for the King Joseph, located at Sakra necropolis. So with just simple tools of mathematics, he created what we feel we can see today, the pyramid. So ancient history of civil engineering include the Karnak water management system. That is the oldest, older than 3,000 years and longer about 71 kilometers. So there are others like this Petronian by Ictinos in ancient Greece, got Appian away by the Roman engineers, the Great Wall of China for start, and the stupas constructed in ancient Sri Lanka. That is, I got to pronounce this carefully, is Jetavana Maya. So that's very extensive irrigation works in Annapura. So Romans developed a lot of civil engineering throughout their empire, include the aqueducts, the insulants, the harbors, bridges, dams, and roads. So when I talk about dams and roads, and that is part of civil engineering. So you see, if you look at the book that treatise on architecture, a book called Vitruvius by the Architectura was published at 1 AD in Rome and probably written around 15 BC by the Roman architect Vitruvius, dedicated to his patron, the Emperor Caesar Augustus, as a guide for building projects. So I hope those who have engaged in civil engineering, you appreciate the history of civil engineering. That is the starting point of all the other branches of engineering. Because when you talk about civil engineering, it does everything. It will cover the civil, of course. When you talk about civil, it covers the road, drainage, and everything on the civil, and also underground, the foundation part. Then comes the mechanical, then electrical, and we also do the architecture part of it to start. That is a planning part. So it covers a lot. So, but when the thing gets bigger, then it starts branching out. The mechanical, you got mechanical engineering, the electrical engineering, and then you got the QS that branches out from civil. But all started out from the mother, that is a civil engineering. So why I started off with that, just to get the student what they call interest. The history of civil engineering is not just born that way. It got born out of innovation, creativity. So now I go back to my personal life. What happened to me actually? I was very active actually during school. I don't bother much about learning, but by chance, even though I avoid, I always been elected to hate something. So much so that in short, in my last year of my school, they elected me as the head head of school to represent the prefects and also head of scouts. I'm also head of what I call my house, the blue team, and others. I play badminton. I was kicked out of the football team because they say I'm too much early. And before I was elected as the head boy, the only my class did not elect me because my form teacher say he's too loaded. And I don't attend class, because as a prefect, I got to go around and I miss 1 or 2 class. Nevertheless, I passed my SPM, but not very good. And my ambition was then not a civil engineer, surprisingly. My vision was, or my ambition was to become a pilot. And like Carol, you're looking at your siblings are looking at a QS. My father is an army. I don't have much thought of an army, but to have a shortcut to drive a plane, I thought a shortcut is to join the army in the Air Force, and I can drive my own plane. Because I always fascinated human driving still in the sky. So it's very proud and something different. So I enrolled myself once. I told my father, but he got angry. So I declined. Second time I tried again. I got it. I got the warrant to go to Polison. At that time, I want to go. He stopped me again. So and that was the last. So a bit frustrated, and I don't know what to do. And Carol, so I found civil engineering not by plan, it's by chance. My sister enrolled me in again back. We are the same. You're my junior. I was enrolled in Polytechnic Nkuma, Ipoh. So that started my journey of civil engineering. Very interesting. I enrolled in civil, what do you call it, CCC, Certificate in Civil Construction. So at that point in time, civil was branching out to hydraulics construction. And there I learned the trade. In fact, when I was in school, in Form 3, I already started to found loving for crafting. I can do my own tools. I do my own gadgets, and a bit innovative. Not as good as Mike Guyver, but fair enough. I can do a lot of things in the house. So that's how it started off. The love for a skill job on construction. So Polytechnic teach you quite a lot from the basic. That's what you say. We learn about masonry, different type of masonry. You learn how to mix a concrete, the different mix. So you get your hands dirty. So that was very interesting. So I graduated from this Polytechnic in Koma. I joined the JKR in the bridge section as a technician. But at that point of time, Polytechnic has already upgraded their syllabus so much so that although you graduated with certificate, but your syllabus, because they imported all the UTM lecturers, we were taught the diploma syllabus. So I find that is very good, even though you have a lower qualification, but when you work, you are doing actually the diploma holder's job. I can do the estimation, the QS. I can do the drawing. They may not be good in drawing, but I can do the drawing. I can do the estimation, and that's why at that point of time I look at it. Technician is there's so much more that I can do. And after joining JKR, I decided to further my studies. I went to ITM. You see, with the certificate that you got from Polytech, you got exemption. Instead of 3 years, you just do your diploma in 2 years. So after graduating from ITM, I worked with a consultant. That point in time, now you haven't heard of this name, technical assistant. So if you have a certificate, they call it technician. If you have a diploma, they call you a technical assistant. So I work in the SSB, the consultant, and all on site. Again, it create a lot of excitement on site, because you do a lot of things. You are, I mean, the project is not big, so you become like the resident engineer on site. It was interesting, but nevertheless, I would like to pursue further, and I enrolled myself, and I got the place in University Strathclyde, Glasgow. So I went to Glasgow again. I got exemption again out of 5 years. What they call course, with all those credit hours, I guess. I got 2 years to do my degree. So I came back and I joined a consultant. So this is where my journey begins as a real engineer, and very exciting. I didn't straight away jump into the river. I was asked to do structural engineering work. So I did some dam structural design, and ended up my love for water. So when I look at the future, Malaysia at the point of time, sewage is nothing. No one entered into sewage. Everything talk about water. So I thought that why must I go to a crowded area? So you must have the niche. And being young and energetic, I told the employer, I do not want to stay here. I want to be adventurous. Send me somewhere. So I got this scholarship from the Confederation of British Industry. And at that point in time, the consultant was associated to some of this company in UK, and I stayed in UK for 2.5 years, and that is where I found it very interesting because I do a lot of things. And to share with you what I have undergone training in UK is some of the skill I still cannot use in Malaysia because Malaysia is not ready. We talk about shaft, we talk about designing shaft, we talk about designing tunnel of sewerage, where the design is not in Malaysia yet. And at that point in time, I also involved in designing this refurbishment of this London ringman, and by putting in the fiber optic, which we don't have the fiber optic here. As I say, what I have learned back in 1980s, I still cannot what they call use it in Malaysia yet because the technology has not reached us. We're still far behind. So the highest what they call then I'm still not happy with the local. I told the employer I still want to go further. So upon coming back from UK, I was posted to Brunei, and I stayed in Brunei for 5 years, and I learned again quite a lot on sewerage and everything. But in Brunei, I was just on loan. But because the consultant got a few jobs here, they started to get me back to KL, and it happens that they say, why must I stay in Brunei? So I was called back to Kuala Lumpur to work on various projects. One of it is in the water consortium. So I fall in love with in the water, and I was then engaged by in the water to become the senior manager for 5 years, whereby after that period of time, IWK become stalemate in terms of moving forward. There's no proper direction. It's a brain dead. So I told myself, I've been planning, but that is a dream. Where is the reality? So the reality of building something. So there's no way forward for IWK then. And I joined a corporate company. And when I joined that corporate, my last position with before I joined IWK was associate director. So I give up the post. To me, post is nothing. You got to find, you don't find money there. You must find wealth. So in life, wealth is not about money. Wealth is about knowledge. Your experience, people cannot take away from you. Money, people can take away from you. You can build the mountains from money, but when you clear off the mountain, you have left with nothing. But if knowledge will remain with you until you die, and you can give, whatever you give, there's nothing being short of. You get more. The more you give, the more you get. So that is the principle of life that I like to share with you, because that's what I told my children also. Don't search for money, but search for knowledge, because knowledge is something that you cannot have any shortcut. So I joined IWK as a senior manager, and for 5 years after that, I joined a corporate company, doing a lot of things again. Not only sewerage, I do a lot on waste management and environment. Thereafter, I was pinched by the government to set up Pengurusan Aset Air Berhad, which now is being called PAAB. That is the asset owner of water. But after being 3 years there, I was kicked out of PAB and was asked to lead in the water. So I come back to in the water as a CEO. Last position was senior manager. I come back with CEO, and I become the longest CEO in IWK for 7 years. And when I retire in 2016, and till present, although Sakra Soul, actually Sakra means sacred. Soul is your life. It's a solution. So that's why it's Sakra soul. Sakra is a Greek word meaning secret. So the position that I have now, I become an advisor to various company and also chairman of various companies, which I didn't put in my biodata. I'm now chairman of few companies and advisor of few companies also, which by force, it ended up when you give advice, you ended up attached to them. So one thing that I like to say to these future civil engineering students, life is about adventure. You don't become too bossy. You must handle a lot of things. You see, during my period of time, the Koreans and Japanese, the engineers can drive a lot of things. Example, if road, the grader, they can drive the grader and show the driver how to do the work. So civil engineering is about getting your hands dirty. It's not about sitting in office using binoculars. No, the assignment is out there. Have a feel, because it's something that you cannot learn. You cannot write. Example, if I enter a treatment plant now, sewage, just by the smell, I know that the plant is working or not. Simple, but I cannot write in a book because all in you. When you enter the site, the smell alone will tell you that aromatic smell in sewage will tell you whether it's working or not. And then when you look at the reactor, the color will tell you whether the microorganism is working or not. And again, the smell, the earthen smell, the pungent smell, and the different smell at night, afternoon, evening, they make a difference. And you can tell. But this is the thing that I cannot write. But you got to feel. That's why engineering is about feeling. Even in soil, those who learn soil mechanics, when you step on the ground, if your foot submerged, what sort of soil bearing capacity that you have? Not by instrument, by feeling. So that means your feeling with nature, no? You're in contact with nature. So that's why I say in the beginning, if you send me alone in a site, I can do measurement. How you measure? Example, one example, you got to practice yourself. I don't know whether you all do this or not. Your 1,000 step is equivalent to how many feet? Anyone could calculate? I doubt whether I don't calculate. You walk every day, but you didn't calculate how many steps that make how many feet. So from there, become another judgment of civil engineering of measuring using your body, your hands. How many feet you want to measure? So there is also, this is a tool that God gives you to measure. So as I say, civil engineering is about contact with nature and the world. So you build, man destroy, man build. So eventually, you know, it's about you and the nature. How you place yourself with what being given by God to make yourself that and see what's the benefit of your arm other than carrying things, other than to eat. So it's for you to contribute back to the nature and contribute back to the civilization in doing good things. So that's why I go focus on water. Water is about life. We begin with water and we ended up also being bathed by water. So water is an essence of life. You cannot do away with water. So that's water. We talk about sewage. There's another portion. You cannot do away with sewage. I used to say that you all will not be here if your toilet at home is not working. You will not be at home if your toilet is not working, because you can close the door, but you cannot contain the smell. So, you know, this is about life. So when you contribute to work, the first thing that you got to say to your heart, are you working for money or are you working for giving people enjoyment of their life by your knowledge? So you must change your step. With due respect for those who are Muslim, you put Allah in front and then the rest is behind. So you put that, what they call, stand in front, that you're doing something good and the good will return back to you without you asking. Back to what I say, don't search for money, search for knowledge. So when you search for knowledge, one thing good about UTP, I've been an adjunct lecturer for UTP. One thing good about UTP, I hope it still remains, good student who can speak, unlike with other, because I've seen other universities, not to downgrade universities at my time. So when I was in a corporate company, I engaged the UTP student to become the trainee, and they can speak well. And when I train them, I say, when you introduce yourself, don't say you're your student, say that you're executive. That gives you some strength in communication. and you can speak well. So you must speak. You must be able to speak. You must be able to present. Then you can express what you're doing. So then you find excitement. Civil engineering covers a lot of areas. You can do roads, you can do buildings, you can do drains, you can do rivers, you can do sewage, you can do water. Anything under the sky is civil engineering. What you look is civil engineering. It's how you look. It's just like looking at a mirror, no? Either you're looking at a one-way mirror or two-way mirror. Some people who look at one-way mirror, they can still see beyond that. If you really look carefully. So that means you must look carefully and then feel with your heart. When you do a job, then it become your sincerity to do a job. So upon graduation, I always like to remind the students, when upon graduation, don't forget you have a degree, but it's not complete. You must have a professional qualification. So the way to do, I took a lot of shortcuts. From the beginning of my life, I took shortcuts. When I submitted for my civil engineering in BM, Board of Engineers, I prepare one document, but I submit for two qualification. One is for board engineers, one is for UK engineers. Thereby, I got chartered engineer for UK, I got professional engineer for Malaysia with one document. So you got to work smart, not work easy. You got to work smart.
Right.
So civil engineering is about smart thinking. Your
Smart.
mind is always thinking and finding solution. I always tell the engineers, you don't go and solve the problem itself. You got to go to the root of the problem. Then it will be better.
Okay.
Look at the source, then you solve the problem, not looking at on a help basis. So that will be make life easier. And then so you must register with BM to start with, otherwise you will lose your years of experience working. That some of the people experiencing. So once you graduate, you register BM and start your journey to get your early professional status. If you, I got civil engineering. I mean, chartered engineer from UK. I can operate in UK. I can operate in Malaysia as professional engineer. I can also operate in Asian countries. That's why the Asian engineers come in, CPA. And recently I got a fellow for ESM. That's it.
Dah, okey Datuk.
Yeah, okay.
Goosebumps saya Datuk. Apa orang kata naik bulu rumah, goosebumps dengar whatever words from you. Betul lah, we are the search of knowledge. Our job is the real job. We feel the job. It's not something you can just letak equation and get the answer. No, you have to feel it. Betul, I feel the same. But when you put it into context, ada validated by you and think it's really good.
Okay, sorry to take a bit more time, but I think I get engrossed.
No worry, we left here and we will open for Q&A slightly later on. We tried to give way to our last speaker, Tuan Haji Azman, Tuan Haji Nur Azman Cik Wan, Ketua Jabatan di Jabatan Kejuruteraan Awam Politeknik Ungku Umar. So sinopsis beliau ya, beliau adalah head kepada Civil Engineering Department PUO selama 4 tahun sekarang ni. For 4 years and currently sekarang lecturer di department tu sendiri. So, bermula 1991 ya?
Ya, betul.
Sejak 1991, okey. Okey, jadi Tuan Haji menerima sertifikat daripada Civil Engineering Construction di PUO sendiri and then menyambung ke peringkat diploma di ITM, Instituti Teknologi Mara masa tu ya. Sekarang UITM. Okey, dan kemudiannya melanjutkan pelajaran di peringkat degree di Civil Engineering UTM dan menaik taraf diri menerusi masters di Civil Engineering daripada Universiti Sains Malaysia. Jadi itulah hero terakhir kita untuk hari ini ya Tuan Haji. Tuan Haji Cik Nur Azman. Jadi saya silakan Tuan Haji untuk mungkin saya bagi dalam 15 minit ke? Boleh?
Okay, insyaAllah.
InsyaAllah. Silakan Tuan Haji.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Dan terima kasih kepada moderator yang berusaha Muhammadiyah Dr. Zahira Nizam ya?
Zahira.
Oh ya, Zahira. Okay. Yang saya hormati dan saya sanjungi Datuk Abdul Kadir selaku Presiden Water Association of Malaysia, dan juga kepada seorang lagi panel iaitu Dr. Carol Ng. Saya pernah dengar nama Dr. Carol Ng ni.
Yeah, Prof. Dah. Tanaji, we met. Itu dekat YouTube, dekat Poly.
Bila
I
sebut
was
nama
your
Carol Ng
student.
tu tak pasal. Bila I tengok dia kata you are my student last time, I tengok tak apa tinggal balik. Okey lah. Tak apalah. Alhamdulillah dapat 2 speaker ni memang daripada Poly rupanya.
Yeah,
Pada tu kadir dengan Prof Ng ni, Dr. Carol.
Yeah.
Tak apalah, saya cerita background sikit saya lah. InsyaAllah saya ni sebenarnya orang Kementerian Kampung je. Bersekolah pun di sekolah parit kat Sekolah Iskandar Shah. Kemudian saya ambil SPM 1980 SPM. Kemudian saya dapat third grade. Jadi bila third grade tu kena ambil sekali lagi lah nak further study. So saya sambung pengajian saya di MHS. Dulu dipanggil MHS lah, sekarang ni saya rasa dah tukar nama tu. Methodist High School di Ipoh. Kemudian saya dapat tawaran. Saya sebenarnya berminat di bidang geometrik, ukur tanah. Saya apply di UTM Semarak waktu itu, tidak berjaya. Tapi saya ditawarkan di Politeknik Koma 1982 sebagai seorang pelajar CC lah, Civil Construction. Dia sesama bila Datuk sebut CC tadi saya teringat zaman saya. CC 1982. Kemudian saya habis pada 1984 saya bertugas di JKR HQ di cawangan ukur bahan quantity survey. Tapi sebabkan kita dah belajar technical ni, bila duduk di ukur bahan ni saya tetap macam tak selesa, duduk kat pejabat buat documentation. Saya kata dan saya pun mohon melanjutkan pelajaran di ITM Shah Alam 1986 di ITM Shah Alam sehinggalah 1987, sebab 2 tahun ni Datuk kita kat sana. So daripada pelajar politeknik kita ambil 2 tahun saja untuk dapatkan diploma. So after diploma di ITM, saya terus further punya study. Before that I pergi ke saya mohon kerja di UTM Semarak sebagai seorang pembantu ataupun technician makmal lah di UTM Semarak. Kemudian dipindahkan ke UTM Skudai Johor. Selepas tu saya berfikir kalau saya duduk selama-lama kat Johor saya tak balik kampung dah. Jadi saya apply balik ke Ipoh. So saya nak apply ke Ipoh, saya mohonlah ke Politeknik Koma sebagai tenaga pengajar. Masa tu saya pegang diploma, saya tak degree lagi. Saya still dalam diploma punya holder lah. Kemudian selepas beberapa tahun saya sambung pengajian di UTM Skudai untuk degree saya. Kemudian balik semula ke Poli, teruskan teaching and learning saya. Kemudian selepas tu saya berusaha untuk dapatkan masters dan saya mohon ke USM 2006 dan dapat master saya pada 2006 sampai 2009 lah, 3 tahun saya dapat master kat sana dan kembali semula. Selepas saya dapat masters, saya ditransferkan ke Politeknik Kulim, Tuanku Sunahbahiyah di Kulim. Kemudian 2013 saya kembali balik ke Politeknik Koma dan ditawarkan pos sebagai ketua jabatan Jabatan Kejuruteraan Awam daripada 1st of December 2015 sehinggalah 1 Ogos baru ni. 1 Ogos baru 3 hari sudah lah, 3-4 hari sudah. Dan lepas tu saya minta mohon buat penggiliran ketua jabatan dan saya bertugas mula sebagai pensyarah biasa lah. Sehingga sekarang ni saya sebagai pensyarah biasa lah. Jadi itulah sedikit I punya study background. Saya dimaksudkan untuk menceritakan sikit cabaran pembelajaran pelajar-pelajar kejuruteraan awam di Politeknik. Itu tajuk yang diberikan kepada saya lah. Pada saya cabaran ni di mana-mana pun selagi kita ni ada nafas, cabaran itu sentiasa ada. Sama ada di poli ke, di mana-mana di kerja ke, memang ada cabaran. Tapi bagi kami di Politeknik Koma ni cabarannya macamlah tak berapa banyak. Kalau tak ada cabaran, Dr. Ng tak jadi doktor lah, Datuk Carol. Datuk Kadir pun mungkin tak berjaya sampai ke jadi Presiden kita punya apa Association Water Association Malaysia
Ya.
jadi cabaran tu memang kita hadapi. Cuma kalau kita lihat pelajar-pelajar Politeknik Keoma ni cabarannya sebab dia bermula daripada SPM lever, daripada lepasan SPM. Jadi lepasan SPM kami menerima pelajar-pelajar yang bukan yang postgraduate, yang semua yang agak medium. Dia punya tahap education agak medium. Dan mereka ni berlatar belakangkan dari pelajar-pelajar kampung, sekolah harian biasa, yang boarding school semua dah lepas ke tempat lain lah. Kami terima pelajar-pelajar yang macam ni. Jadi bila kita terima pelajar-pelajar ni, alhamdulillah lah kita nak mengasuh pelajar-pelajar yang tak berapa tak bersedik tu, diorang ni sedik. Tetapi diorang ni belum matang waktu selepas SPM. Jadi kami berusaha untuk mendidik pelajar-pelajar ni apa itu simen, apa itu batu, apa itu konkrit, daripada background yang zero. Jadi alhamdulillah dengan bantuan daripada pensyarah-pensyarah dan komitmen daripada pelajar-pelajar itu sendiri, kita berjayalah melahirkan hampir 50 tahun lah kita sustain dengan kita punya Politeknik Keoma ni, sebab kita ditubuhkan 1969. Jadi kita dah 1959. So kita dah 50 tahun dah usia kita, last year 50 tahun, dan kita sustain lagi untuk melahirkan pelajar-pelajar yang berilmu dan agak berkualiti lah di mata industri construction di Malaysia lah. Cabaran yang kedua ni sebab pelajar-pelajar ni apabila kita terima pelajar-pelajar yang agak zero knowledge pasal technical ni, jadi kita terpaksa berusaha lebih lah dengan ragam pelajar-pelajarnya, ada yang ponting kelasnya, tetapi alhamdulillah kita manage untuk settlekan masalah-masalah diorang ni dengan yang terbaik, dan kita hantar kepada universiti-universiti tempatan untuk dalam further diorang punya study. Sama ada di UTM, di ITM, even dekat UTP pun ramai juga pelajar politeknik saya difahamkan yang further study kat sana. Dan alhamdulillah di situlah diorang boleh barulah buka minda diorang di mana diorang tu berada dan ke mana diorang ada selepas ni. So cabarannya pada saya tak banyak sangatlah di politeknik ni. Sebab kalau ikut yuran kami pun murah, RM200 je satu semester. Saya rasa tak ada dah sekarang ni di mana-mana universiti bayar RM200 untuk belajar kan. Jadi cabaran keuangan tu pada saya taklah banyak mana, taklah susah sangat. Even sama ada pelajar tu dia ni hendak tak hendak belajar je. Kalau dia hendak, insya-Allah boleh berjaya. Even buat kami punya alumni pun ramai yang dah berjaya. Even menjadi prof, menjadi datuk, jadi CEO company dan sebagainya. Jadi pada saya lah cabaran bagi pelajar Politeknik Keoma di tahap yang agak minima cabarannya. Cuma di saat-saat COVID ni kita ada sikit lah cabaran yang agak meningkat lah. Macam mana kita nak deliver kita punya PDP, macam mana pelajar-pelajar itu, kesediaan pelajar-pelajar dengan kaedah kita mengajar secara dipanggil segerak ke tak segerak ke, so macam-macam halangan degatlah untuk PDP ni. Tapi pada saya itu semua asam garam kita sebagai pendidik kita terpaksa hadapi dan kita cuba untuk mendidik pelajar-pelajar kita terbaik yang mungkin lah. Itu sajalah daripada saya. Kalau yang ada yang nak ditambah bolehlah ditambahkan. Okey, Prof.
Okey. Puan Haji. Kita nak buka dalam Q&A untuk beberapa soalan. Mungkin pertamanya kita allow soalan-soalan daripada luar. Any questions from outside, Arvin? Arvin?
From the Q&A, so far we don't have any questions from our live.
Okay. So I have some questions to our panels. Yeah, maybe I like to start with Dr. Kara first. Okay, now that you have been teaching the graduates from UTP in civil engineering department. How do you feel? What would be the kind of challenges to teach this generation as compared to your generation? Previous generations are very different than nowadays. So what would be the things that you want us to share? You want to share with us then for us to learn a little bit more about them, please.
I'm still Gen Z, okay? I'm still a young one. Yeah, teaching them, it's we know that it things changed a lot now, and then there's a lot of Internet of Things. Everyone is using a laptop, go browsing Googles and so on. So we have to adapt to the trend, okay? So that is why we have a lot of all these teaching new that we call it as a 21st century teaching and learning methods. So we have kind of active learning, flipped classroom. All right. So all this is actually to encourage and to help the students to learn to have a better learning experience. And thanks to COVID, all right. So thanks to COVID that we even have our online platform now for the teaching and learning. So students can always watch back the lectures that we have delivered online. And even now for our MSc program, like I mentioned earlier, that we have our MSc in offshore engineering that is also delivered in the ODL mode, the distance learning mode. So that's whoever, not necessarily from Malaysia, those who are from overseas can also enroll for our course. So whereby they just have to attend the courses through the internet, and then yeah, everything will be online.
So they prefer online modes rather than face to face now, I think.
Yes, yeah.
Is it mixed? Arvin getting quiet.
No, Harvey shaking his head. Uh, Perhaps for the theoretical lecture, yeah, some of the courses required experiments and some hands-on kind of things. So still, I think all those is required to be face-to-face.
But I think if we bring back the points from Dato, to feel itu kan, to feel.
Yes.
Our challenge as lecturers is how to make them feel in the classroom. Feel tu tak ada lagi. Right.
The field too, if you can see, we can bring them to the field trip. You see my field trip that have a big ships that even go to the beneath the ships and touch the ship. So that can, when they see the things, they can feel it. Betul tak, Dato'?
Betul. Actually, when you talk about feel, I can still, I mean, it's not to politicize. There is a black batu Feringgi incident once upon a time ago when I was in IWK as a CEO. Straight away, I went to the site and I touched the material. By touching the material, when you present to the chief minister, you can talk, with confidence because you are at the site. That's what I mean. You got to do it. Even though if you are the CEO, the head, the number one of the company, that doesn't mean that you don't have to go to the site. So that incident, I call it a black batu Feringgi incident. IWK been accused of polluting the beach. So I went there, I go to the site, I touch the material. So when I present to the chief minister, I can tell and to defend that this is not from humans, because if humans is soft, no, it will just disappear. And this is something solid. And I know what it is, but I cannot say to the chief minister. I told him that you got to find out yourself. I know what it is. You go back to the source. No? So in our water, we don't produce that kind of things because humans basically don't produce solid that don't dissolve. So that's my basic answer. So feeling, talk about feeling yourself. I agree with Dr. Carol. Best to have a lot of field trips for the engineers, depending on their what they call interest. But it's difficult to get in the whole classroom. Not many of you would like to be involved in water or sewage or in oil. They may be in UTP, but their interest is different. Their field is different. They may like roads. So let's go to the road. When you go to the road, don't look at the road that is completed. Look at the road as being under construction. Yeah. And look at the base course and have a feel. What is this premix is about? When they talk about the 80 and 100, what is 80, 100? So, then they can have a feel. Because even if you roads, the smell of the premix also can tell you whether the mix is right or wrong. So the soil, when you look at the sand that you mix at the base, by feeling, you know, this is sand from the river or is it sand from the sea. This is feeling.
Kita kena guna semua deria kan Datuk. Dia
Ini you
bau,
gunakan
dia
deria rasa. Ini the God give you sense of
sense.
feeling.
Betul,
So when
betul.
you touch, you know, when you smell, you know, this is all God given to you. But you must know how to use, not just to smell perfume. No, you got to smell something else. Smell the nature. When you go to the forest, you know, how to bring the forest into your house.
Oh.
How to bring the forest? There is a way, but not this forum. So you know, you must feel the nature. So civil engineering is you are married to the nature. So when you go to the site, these are the areas. So if you go to water treatment plant, the smell of chlorines, the smell of alum, the smell of what they call all the chlorides. You must know how to smell. When you go into this one, oh, this one is chloride. You know, you don't have to touch.
Right.
It's the smell of hydrochloric acid. So learn how to smell.
Betul. I agree.
I encourage, if UTP can, what they call, at times, not all the time, go to the site, look at the interest of the student, maybe not the whole class, look at the interest. If you teach them, okay, just a bit of my life. I got 5 children. So I don't force them to do what I want. So for example, I take one good example of my second son who doesn't like mathematics. So when he finished his what they call SPM, he wants to work at McDonald's. I say, why? A lot of money. What is your ambition? He say, I don't like calculation. Maybe I like lawyer. So I find a job as an office boy in the lawyer office. So he looks how the lawyer works. So after he got his result, then I asked, you like the lawyer work? Yes. Then you go.
Okay.
It's a chance for them. So likewise, the student, maybe they say they like road, but when they go to the road, oh, road is very hot. There's nothing there. I can become dark. Can I work somewhere else? And then you go to the geotechnic, you go to the forest.
Betul.
I have the same experience. That's why I put a
Exactly.
full stop in construction industry.
Exactly. So if you don't want to get tan, don't go to
Yeah.
the area of civil that tan you. You go to the areas that friendly environment. You go to the forest. Forest is about engineering. How the forest retain water.
Yes.
How the trees retain water. How the fruits retain water. How the flowers retain water. You learn about the nature. So back to what I said just now, this is something that you cannot write in the book.
Yeah.
No.
If I ask you to write the book, just a short description, you drink coffee, tell me how you taste coffee. You try to tell that to a blind
Cannot describe.
I cannot describe.
No
So you got
words.
to feel.
I'm a coffee lover. I know how you feel.
Exactly. And you talk about coffee, you put sugar and milk, you are not a coffee lover.
No.
You're not a coffee lover. If you're really coffee lover, you don't put milk or sugar. Anyway, it's about feeling. It's about feeling. Okay. That's my thought about it.
Yeah.
Okay, Dr. Zahira, I hope I've shared
Yeah.
with you.
Thank you so much, Dato'. Itulah the beauty of civil ni, kalau tak suka satu, kita boleh pilih yang lain, right?
Exactly.
That's the strength of civil lah. Tak suka pokok, carilah air. Tak suka air tawar, ambil air masin. Tak suka air masin, ambil air kotor, right?
Betul.
That's how the beauty of civil, when you put everything to perspective. And I think we have some questions, kan, Arvin? Maybe you can read a few. Ada banyak ni tanya. Mana satu saya nak start? Nabil Iman tanya ya. Okay, anyone may be able to answer. Nabil Iman tanya, will COVID graduates have less value to employers due to the less hands-on learning? This is a big question. Saya repeat, will COVID graduates have less value to employers due to less hands-on learning? So how do we want to go about this one? Who would like to answer this part first?
I don't
Maybe I
quite
can
understand.
highlight on the less learning part. We don't really we just put a pause on the lab work and so on. For example, for what happening now, because we are not allowed for face to face, right? Still the lab will be carried on, but it will be later. So it's not fully stopped there. So still hands on will be there.
Right. I think if I can add to Nabil Iman's question, saya mengajar civil engineering materials Dato' Tuan Haji.
Yeah.
And Dr. Kara, saya bawa dia orang pergi dapur lah. Saya nak bancur konkrit tapi tak boleh bancur konkrit. But I imitate masak kek lah whatever kan. Whatever aggregate dekat luar rumah tu saya bawa untuk mereka feel. Jadi minggu depan saya kena ajar pokok. Saya tak tahu lah nak bawa pokok ke tidak jumpa dalam kelas online. So that is something. It will never stop us from trying to make it hands-on learning to Nabil Iman. Yeah, that's what we vow into. And then from alumni Akram, another question. But as mentioned by Datuk Kadir, Malaysia is currently falling behind in terms of technology. Will we be able to catch up in the near future? So itu soalannya. Mungkin kalau saya tambah pada Datuk juga, continuation daripada soalan ni, apa landscape civil engineering in the future? Sebab rata-rata orang kata civil ni dah tak ada guna kat Malaysia. I don't know. So what is it that you feel and what is the right answers to give to all these people about our technology and the way forward of civil engineering? Yes, please.
Okay, I can say that civil engineering is still relevant. But it involves the decision maker. Most of students, when you engage yourself with civil engineering, of course, you want to graduate, become an engineer, you get a good pay and things like that. And mind you, civil engineering, we are governed by the board of engineers. And when you engage with the board engineers, if you become a consultant, there is a term called scale of fee. This is where the government got to look at, and you got to act as one. If all our engineers, we have our persatuan or association, things like that, we got to have one common voice to uphold the civil engineering profession. See, one of the exploitation of civil engineering, engineers used to be leader, but then it being exploited in the sense that when the industry changed to turnkey elements, the contractor become your boss, and we give up our principle. I mean, as a whole society of engineers, not only civil, and others remain the same. You give up your principle, meaning that the things that cannot be done, you say can be done. You know, meaning that we can do a lot of things. You want a gold-plated toilet, I can give gold-plated toilet, but whether it is sensible to do it or not. So it goes back to the principle of what I say. What's in your heart? When you build something, it's built to serve the public or to serve the human mankind. But if you build something to harm them, then you're not sincere in your job. So coming back to the profession, I think there is what they call potential, but it depends on the future leaders and whoever hold the position in various organizations like IEM or ACM to fight for this profession. I'm fighting quietly on this to make sure that this profession is is a respected profession. Example, in the water industry, as the president of Malaysian Water Association, I'm also the chairman of the Water Malaysia Academy. What we are saying to the government, the essence of our water supply, the operators, we want all water operators to be competent. And the water captors must have a proper qualification, and no one can operate our chlorine if they don't have a license. So I going towards that, and then it goes back to training. Training is a must. You cannot say that you have graduated and you sit at home and you don't do nothing. Because knowledge is not the end after you graduate. It's a continuation until you die, because there's a lot of things outside. What you learn in the universities is not what you construct on site. You must learn that. That's why, with respect to academicians, sometimes too lot of theory. You forgot something. What I say to most of the my friends in the corporate life, I say, if you're too busy looking at a tree, you forgot that you are in a forest. So you know, you don't focus one thing. You got to look at all possible. So they say engineers are too square. No, if engineers are too square, I wouldn't become the CEO of IWK, because you got to look at the perspective of human resource, financial part of it, and also practical part. But you must know the business. So the profession of engineers is still potential to me, but it depends on the future leaders and also the current leaders of now to make sure that we attract more people to be engineers and then build better. So this COVID-19 is a it's blessing from God because you change it's a new normal. So the question about learning process is still ongoing. I have every week online webinar, no? Every week online webinar. I can share any one of you of various topics. The last topic is about how to start back your water system after a prolonged what you call stoppage, because the bacteria grow in your pipes, and that is different what you call engineering field or scientific. So a lot of things. So don't be upset or what you call you feel that you're being set back. You have engage yourself in civil engineering and you have no future. No, you have. You can talk to Prof. Shak. He's in what you call potential of wastewater. There are a lot of things, new design come in. And I like to share with you, engineering is about searching for creativity and innovation. You must invent new things. Don't be too complacent. You got to ask yourself, you want to become a follower or you want to become a leader? If you want to become a follower, you sit tight and just watch things goes by like the river. You sit beside the river, the rubbish flow, it goes up and down, you just see the rubbish. If you jump into the river, you follow with the flow, and then you have to feel. That's how it is to swim inside the river. So you decide. You decide. So I think it's still interesting. It's still very adventurous. Personally, I'm involved in Academy of Science. I'm leading a team called IR Water 4.0. We are writing up a report on how to implement Water 4.0 for the next 4 nation plan, RM 12, 13, 14, 15. You know, so it's good.
I think that's how we adapt balik dengan the technology, the 4IR. We have to follow the trend, but at the same time, we are flexible. Then we don't say things. We want to see things what we want to see, but we forget other perspectives that actually relevant sebenarnya. Mungkin I would like to ask Tuan Haji satu soalan, continuation daripada tu jugalah berkenaan dengan perspektif student-student ni. Kadang-kadang student dah habis belajar ni, let's say dah habis diploma daripada PUO kan, dia dah tak nak sambung dah, dia dah penat sangat tu kan, cukup lah kan. Tapi how would we tackle them to see the value of knowledge ni untuk sambung belajar, and how do we make them valuable? Sebab kadang-kadang dia nampak duit kan, dia dah nampak game ke dekat situ kan, dia cukup-cukup. Jadi this is a big problem sebenarnya for us to bring them closer to UTP contohnya kan. But this is a problem that we cannot ignore because it's the mentality. So how do we go about Tuan Haji?
Okay, terima kasih. Actually, penubuhan politeknik ni sebenarnya kita berasaskan kepada membekalkan tenaga separa mahir. Kita tidak menganggap politeknik sebagai stepping stone ke universiti. For those yang rasa yang perlu nak pergi ke universiti, then they have to struggle betul-betul lah di study kat poli. Sebab kita fokus kepada separa mahir. So kita beranggapan pelajar-pelajar yang selepas grad ni dia dibekalkan ke institusi-institusi ataupun industri-industri yang memerlukan pekerja yang separuh mahir. Jadi seperti yang saya katakan tadi, kita tidak menghalang untuk diorang ni further study. Tapi kita kata ya, janganlah anggapkan politeknik sebagai stepping stone untuk dia pergi ke universiti.
Okay.
Tapi kita tidak menghalang diorang nak pergi ke further study ke mana-mana.
Alright. Tapi ada antara mereka tu yang nak juga sambung, right? Macam ni lah contohnya.
Ya, betul. Ya, kan di depan kita. Ya. Siapa dos yang berkemampuan untuk pergi further study dan ada dorongan-dorongan tertentu, proceed. Kita menyokong.
Okay, that's good lah. So mungkin kita harap berlanjutan daripada sini student-student poli akan nampak yang career path mereka pula ke mana, masuk degree, kita still hands on tapi kita lebihkan knowledge, kita merasa lebih kan, macam itulah benda-benda tu yang kita harap sampai message tu sampai pada semua graduan politeknik ke atas kepentingan untuk sama belajar juga. I think last question lah kot, nak dekat pukul 5 ni, minta maaf lah lambat pula kita start pelambat tadi. Tapi ini relevan kepada industri juga Datuk. Jadi saya nak buat summary untuk 2 soalan kepada Datuk dan sebelum tu lepas tu kita mungkin berakhir. Antaranya sebab Datuk ada chartered engineer. Ini soalan daripada Tan Yung Sheng.
Yep.
Jadi bertanyakan macam kelebihan chartered engineer UK ni dan juga ada ICE dekat Malaysia, sejauh mana becoming a member in this field would help in terms of their career path. Nanti dari segi opportunity. Dan mungkin juga salah satu soalan juga yang bertanya, selain co-curricular activities, apa yang industri nak tengok daripada graduan-graduan kita ni? Apa lagi yang kena ada dalam graduan, contohnya graduan UTP ni lah, untuk menjadikan dia ni lebih value? Especially nak apply internship pun, macam ni student-student yang sekarang ni yang saya nampak ni, Farahin ni student kita sekarang, dia nak apply internship kan, dia orang compete kan, so everybody competing, so macam mana nak jadikan mereka ini lebih special ke? What would industry expect from them? I think that's how I want to put it. So 2 question lah. Silakan.
No question. Okay, I answer the latest one first. To bring value of students, you see, your successful life is not how you score, you get good grades in universities. Like what tadi being said by we fail in our SPM. I would say fail, but we become great leaders. I come from a notorious school, you know. Those who are back in 1975, you ask Amparo Boys School. It's a notorious school, the most gangsterous school, and I'm become the head boy of the gangster school. So this is a challenge. So to put value in students, what I'm trying to say, you must involve in extra curriculum. There is I don't know whether it's too late for you. There is what they call a society called Toastmaster Club. That is very good. Toastmaster, they teach you how to speak. For instance, when you are here, I say to Arvin, I give you a topic of say bread. Instantly you got, you know, without thinking, spontaneous. So the skill of spontaneous is not what I call come overnight. It's built because of the knowledge, and the ability to speak, the ability to write, and also ability to summarize things. Because as civil engineer, you got to summarize quick. Because in terms of disaster, you are think tank group, so you must think fast. So it shows you're energetic, and you are a problem. You can identify problem, and you can also give solutions. So the student must be active in your whatever in your curriculum in universities. Not only playing games, but active in debate or society, so that you can train yourself how to speak. So what industry look in student is you can speak and you can write. But of course, don't write rubbish. You must know how to write any good English writing, and you can digest things quickly. So there must be what they call in university, some of this, I don't know, syllabus, or you put up with society to what they call to shape the student to have a fast response. Because sometimes it's just like driving a car. Highway engineering, I learned highway engineering. When you brake, the brake time speed is about few seconds to think whether to go left, right, or brake, or what. So I don't know whether you learn highway engineering. I learned highway engineering. So the road elevation, when you design the elevation, you know there is a brake time speed before you come up to that design. That's why when you say about road, the police put up a speed, you say it's nonsense, because the road is designed by civil engineers. You would know whether to run 120, 140, or 80. The road curvature, you know, the centrifugal force, the whole design. Why it was saying it like that? Why? Because of centrifugal force, because you don't want the car to fly. So this is where the innovative part. So when the lecturer give you an assignment, don't just be too straightforward to answer. You must ask question. You must be inquisitive, but don't like the cat. Inquisitive kill the cat. No, this inquisitive about knowledge. You must know why the things being happen. I mean, why you design this manner? Why you want to do this? Why you design the bending moment? Why you need a shear force? So when you can express that to your employer, then you have gained their confidence that they know that you are creative, innovative, and you are a person that's independent. That's another word, independent. Not like before. You see, currently students, when they graduate, when they start doing design, they start opening up books. You know, sometimes they refer back. No, it's hands-on. You must be a hands-on person. No more refer back, because it's just like when you have knowledge, you don't have to because al-ilmu fi sudur la fi kutub, meaning that the knowledge is is in your heart, not in the book. You become a living book. So as I said, al-ilmu fi sudur, that means the knowledge is in here. La fi kutub, not in the book. You must remember that. Like Quran, when you read Quran, you don't need the symbol. You know read by heart. Otherwise, you cannot read. So the thing that the player look at the student to become intern, you must express yourself, because some people can write but they cannot speak. Some people can speak but they cannot write. So in like my industry, I just found out last few years ago. It seems that if you do water, some people can do water but cannot do sewerage. Some people can do sewerage but they cannot do water. Unfortunately or fortunately, I can do both. So you become versatile. So when you as a student will go, when they put you in anyway, they could put you in the forest, you can survive. They put you into the drain, you can also survive. You put it, that's why I say you must be independent. You see, like the CEO, if my secretary is not around, I can still type. I can still make photocopy. I can still make my own coffee. So you don't become bossy. You must be act humble. It's just like what they call paddy. You know? When you have the seed, it's just bend. It's not like lalang. When you have nothing, you just fly around. So in human life, you must be humble, and then have knowledge, be humble, and then don't underrate people. So student must have that kind of things. The first question was what? Sorry, Dr. Zahida. No, I can't hear you.
Dr. Zaira, your mic.
Your mic.
Yeah, sorry.
The first question was what?
From Tan Yong Shing about your experience.
Engineering. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Actually, you must have all those what you call qualification to give you flexibility. Like what Dr. Zira was saying just now, civil engineering have a lot of fields. Make you choose. If I decide to go to UK and work in UK, I'm ready. I got the qualification. If I will be sent to any part of Asian countries, I'm ready because I got the qualification. So I don't have to apply more because this thing take over time. You cannot just graduate, you get that PH. No, you got to go through the mills. So get you ready. It's not that it's what you call, when you have that, give you advantage. That's why I say again, in some countries, if I remember Hong Kong, if you have a civil chartered engineer, your salary is different.
Yeah.
One. Number two, if you have a what you call professional qualification, you can open up a consultant. If you have a professional engineer, your qualification can add up value to a company under registration of a contractor. You see, so it's not about chop. The beauty part of the current system, civil engineering. Bear in mind, with your job of professional engineer, even though you are a road engineer, you can also put your job on drain engineer, put on what they call water engineer. So BM, the law put it such a way, because I don't agree that one, but that is the law. When you're a civil engineer, when people design road, you can sign, you can chop. So in terms of profession, some organization engage you because of your professional engineer as a part-time. When you sign one drawing, maybe 1,000 one drawing. Imagine 100 drawings, they engage you.
Yeah.
So it's not about money. Money matters. Not about the heart. Heart is different. So if people looking at why you get your professional engineers, it depends on what you want. So I just get myself prepared. If I've been sent, I can go. So the level of where you are when you have that qualification is different. So when people station you can, you see, when you engage, you got that one. When you enter a tender, the points is different. allocated points for staffing is different when you got a PH and you don't have a PH. Okay.
Okay, very much.
Dato, I just correct me if I'm wrong. So, from what I understood is that other than just getting endorsement on all those, it's actually a recognition because for a chartered engineer, you're not measuring only the technical things. You also measure other from other aspects. For example, in terms of your management, in terms of the your and the other, for example, your HSE and then other things as well. So sort of like you are recognized as a well-rounded, because UTP use that, right? So we have a well-rounded student. So you are a well-rounded engineer. So that is why they give you the qualifications or the endorsement as you are a qualified engineer. Is that what this mean?
Okay, qualified engineer, they will look first at your, because you cannot choose. Some student, when they graduated, they want to work with a consultant. There's no employment consultant. They ended up being a contractor. Some student, when they enter a engineering consultant, they want to design in design office, but they've been posted to the site. So you cannot get what you want. So nevertheless, life goes on. So you undergo all those things, and that is one experience that you have to put it into your record. It's either 2 years on site, 1 year in office, or 2 years in office or 1 year on the site. That is what I record during my time. So when you fulfill that 3 years, then when you submit your application for a professional engineer, they will be interviewing you on that qualification. But then another part of this professional exam is ethics. This is where the all-rounded come in. Your ethics. There are a lot of questions on ethics, and you cover the part, you cover a lot of things, because that involves you and the public. Because civil engineering is not about you yourself. It's you engaging with the public, how you serve the public, and that's why they call it ethics.
Right.
So and it's all-rounded. All-rounded.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you,
thank you
Dato.
so much. Thank you so much, Dato. So my deep appreciation to all the panels, Dato Carol, Dato Abdul Kadir, and Tuan Haji Azman. So I learned a lot today. I'm speaking for myself. I learned a lot. I refreshed a lot, and I value my work more with all this experience that you shared. Thank you so much. I think I will end my part here. I'm going to give away the session back to the organizer, Arvin. So thank you so much, everybody. Okay, Arvin, back to you.
Thank you, Dr. Zahira. Okay, the forum would like to say a very big thank you to our speakers and also our moderator for the amazing sharing session with so much of knowledge to bring along with us. Once again, a very big thank you to our speakers and also our moderator. With that, I would like to end our forum here today with a very big thank you once again to everyone that has took part and also attended the forum. Those who were watching us on our live stream, thank you very much for your questions. I hope that our speakers were able to answer your questions and also provide you with more knowledge. And I also hope that all of us can take something from today and cherish it as always with a lot of knowledge which has been poured for us here today. Once again, a very big thank you, and I hope to have another great session sometime soon. With that, I would like to say take care and goodbye to everyone.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Or bye.
Assalamualaikum.
Thank you all and goodbye.
Assalamualaikum.
Assalamualaikum.
Thank you.
Assalamualaikum.
Assalamualaikum.